Hi, it's Rob from Up and Out. So we just finished the Pick Your Poison race on Saturday, and so we've got Sue from Kind Living and Adam as the race director from Pick Your Poison. So we thought we'd just have a little chat about the race itself, and in particular because this is the 10th anniversary. So we're here just to talk a little bit about how the event went and some of the highlights, and you as a participant and Adam as the race director. So do you want to just, Adam, talk a little bit about like 10 years? What's it been like running this race for 10 years?
It's certainly been amazing that it's gone already 10 years. It's been a long, sometimes it seems really long, and sometimes it seems like it's gone by really quickly. It's like someone once told me that it's a 10-year overnight success.
Yeah, it is like a well-oiled machine now.
Yes, there's a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff that happens basically starting in October.
Yeah.
Getting a lot of things, the logistics of ordering. Nowadays, it seems to be the majority of the work becomes, communicating with people that are interested in participating in your race. Like there's a lot of emails that go back and forth.
Right.
There's a lot of social media posts that happen back and forth.
So you started the first one, there's about 100 participants.
Yeah.
Total across all three races.
Yeah.
This year, how many did you have across the three?
So we like to try and keep it a small
Yeah.
type of event, something that I feel is more unique and certainly manageable for us as far as being a small group that actually puts on the event itself.
Yeah.
So we limit the field to 125 runners per distance.
Right.
There was a few fluctuations with that last minute, transfers from one distance to the other, but that's always to be expected. But so it certainly has grown, or people know about it now anyway, and it's an event that a lot of people are interested in wanting to do.
So, and the reason that they're interested, you're going to add something.
I was just curious
As
about
a participant.
but
that's possible.
repeat, right? So that to me that's a huge sign when you have people that have, if they like something, they'll repeat it again. If not, they'll maybe just do it once.
Right.
It seems to be like a coming home experience where
Yes.
there's quite a party atmosphere to it because it's a big homecoming for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And being one of the earliest races of the season, everyone's really excited
Yeah,
to get
yeah.
the season underway.
Yeah.
And it speaks a lot to the organization when people make it a priority to come back.
Yeah, a lot of people are excited. They haven't seen their friends for maybe, quite a few months.
Yeah, there's
or
a
just
lot
people
of that.
that they know from racing year after
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
And, we certainly recognized that early on doing this, and we moved from transitioning to just being a race to more of like an event. So this idea of, you come in the morning, we've got this beautiful venue, which is the Heights
Yeah.
of Horseshoe.
It's amazing.
Absolutely stunning what they've done for renovations in the last
Amazing.
couple of years. We have coffee and donuts in the morning, as much as you want to eat and drink. We also have had the good fortune in the last couple of years to have Stoked Oats,
So they have
providing
oatmeal
breakfast
going.
as
Yeah,
well
yeah.
too. So there's a lot of places for people to spread out, eat, hang out, and sit. And also then we provide a really nice lunch for everybody. So there's another opportunity for people just to kind of enjoy the day, hang out, watch other people finish, and just get caught up with their friends and whatnot. So I don't know, I think we're quite unique that way.
Yeah.
And I feel very lucky that we've been able to kind of create what we have actually.
Well, and just thinking about all the things that you do provide as part of this race. I mean, there's the intangible things like the social elements and obviously the challenging races themselves. But then, like just the things that people walk away with, like the shirt and the socks, honey, local honey.
Yeah, so we've had the good fortune of dealing with Aurelia Honey, which is Paul Gillett,
Yeah, lovely.
since year one.
There's a lot of heart in that event.
Yeah, I know, and I think so the way that people treat us, we try and treat everyone back, and so I think that shows with the that people enjoy coming and doing our race because we do put a good effort in to try and make sure that it is a fun day for everybody.
And a trail run too, for those that are not familiar, there's a huge responsibility. You guys do an exceptional job of making sure that you are not going to get lost. I mean, because it's just brilliantly marked out. So that gives runners a high degree of confidence. They just have to worry about running and
Absolutely.
not whether they need to turn right
Yeah.
or left at the fork of the road.
And you, speaking of kind of the organization and running of it, this is really like a family and friends and coworkers event, like as far as the organizing team, isn't it?
Definitely. I mean,
You
I
really
mean,
have your family involved in this.
absolutely. Like, my wife Heather, who does an amazing job
Yeah.
of all, like I said, like all the behind the scenes logistics of email, responding to things, transfers of, distances, and following up with the race roster, entry stuff. The amount of effort that, my immediate family puts into, like
Yeah.
my mom and mother-in-law, who are at this aid station that's the furthest one away. They're there all day long, and they have been for like the last 9 years doing this aid station all by themselves. And it's amazing, that you go and ask them if they need help or anything, and
Yeah.
they're perfectly fine with what they do. And I mean,
And then I loved the number of young people. I'm not sure if they were your nephews or not, but there were some great signs, sort of like, way to go, random stranger.
Yes, yeah.
That made me laugh. I gave them a big thumbs
yeah,
up.
that was
and
one of my nephew's, Cameron, holding
There's
up that
Cameron.
sign. Yeah.
That was great.
And actually, speaking of that, I had my one niece Lila and my other nephew Garrett selling all the
Yes.
last
Oh,
year's
that's-
stuff,
Yeah.
like
Okay.
socks and
They're
T-shirts.
hustlers.
Yeah.
But you know what, though? I mean, that was wonderful because with that, we raised $750, which goes towards local lunch programs at some of the
Nice.
schools in Aurelia.
Fantastic.
So,
Fantastic.
I mean, their hustling paid off for us in the end anyway. So it was actually
Absolutely.
quite nice. Yeah.
It was great.
So, and that's an interesting part of it too, is that the money that is raised, like if there are monies left over,
Mhm.
then you donate it to a local charity. Is that
Yeah,
what
so every year we've been able to give to Sharing Place here in town.
Yeah. A local shelter
Yeah, or we've
a
also,
food bank? I should say.
yeah. We've also done things like POGO, which is a pediatric cancer program.
Right. Right.
We've also done other things like even just this last year, Copeland and Friends,
Oh yeah.
or Copeland Forest Friends, just helping. I mean, we use the forest, so I mean, if we can give some money back to that to help, run their, even run their club or whatever they need to use that money for, then I think that's important too. So yeah, I mean, like I think we like to kind of spread it out versus, use it for one specific thing. But yeah, I mean, it's not for profit, so.
Yeah.
Anything that we can do to help out other people in the community, or maybe Ontario or whatever, I think is great.
Oh, that's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So 10th year, it was sold out very early on, and then the moving into the days or week before the race, it was maybe a different environmental situation than you were hoping for or expecting, and
Yeah.
certainly versus last
yeah.
year anyway.
Yeah, it looked like some parts of the course got almost 2 feet of snow. So the week before, we were out actually marking course with snowshoes on.
Yeah.
We were actually digging out a couple of kilometers worth of single track from
Ice
ice
and
snow.
Yeah.
Spots where there was probably still at least a foot of snow
Yeah.
on trail. And
Yeah.
and to be honest, like that was just to make things safe for everybody.
Yeah.
And also to have access to the pieces of single track that are some of my favorite pieces of running out there.
Right.
And so, I mean, it seemed like such a shame to actually lose those just because of that.
So what were there other, I don't know, highlights or challenges that stood out for you this year?
Probably my favorite part is watching people coming down the ski hill for the first time. Because
Yeah.
usually once you start to see those first people coming, everything's good.
Yes.
Because people are navigating their way
Yes.
around.
They found their way home.
Yes, absolutely. And I mean, this year was actually kind of special, I mean, you were taking photos at the finish, and, watching people come down the ski hill when it was absolutely covered in snow.
Yeah, that was pretty cool to see.
It was actually really neat, especially
Yeah.
like you got this contrast of this white snow and these bright colors, trying to work their way through all that. It was quite amazing.
Yeah.
Like I think as far as other highlights are concerned too, I feel like I'm pretty proud of ourselves for such a small group of people putting this race on.
Yeah.
And like when I'm standing there at the beginning of the race and there's all these people, and like I think to myself, wow, like this has really turned into something pretty big, and I feel really proud of how much effort we've put in, and I feel like we've put together a really good product.
Oh, absolutely. So you were at the starting line.
Absolutely.
And so how many years have you been doing it now, Sue? This is third or fourth?
I'm thinking, is it? It's either third or fourth. Yeah.
So what was it like for you this year?
Well,
we haven't even really had a chance to talk that much about it.
I know. Definitely this year had more elements to overcome, and there were challenges. But there was a part of me that kept thinking, this is the real deal. I mean, this is what trail running is all about. I mean, it's not about having this perfectly, paved trail.
Yeah.
And it is about various challenges, so that you've got changes in elevation, and then, there's times where the snow was like, it was just like quicksand in a way. Like it was really hard to kind of get your footing. And then you'd have ice, and you'd have mud, and then you'd have, absolutely every bit. I told Adam this, what brought a smile to my face was there was one particularly gnarly route, and it actually had an orange bow wrapped around it. And I thought, oh, isn't that sweet?
So somebody just marked it. So
They had marked it, yeah. One thing that's there's definitely more of a community feel with trail running, and even people being quite polite, even while they're on single track, and stepping aside to let someone faster go by, or words of encouragement.
I mean, when I have time, a favorite part of my day is actually sitting down with even individual people and asking how their run went, and just kind of getting, like whether I've talked to them year after year after year, or finding new people that are maybe it was their first time at our race. Like I love just hearing the stories,
yeah,
because everyone has a story.
Yeah.
Something happened out there.
Yeah.
Maybe good or bad, but hopefully at the end you can laugh about it.
Yeah, there are lots of opportunities for stories.
Yeah, no, it was kind of special that like given all the circumstances leading into it with the weather and everything else, like I think it did make it a pretty special 10th year for us. Like it was absolutely a memorable one.
Yeah.
And I think everyone was proud of themselves, right? Like when you
Oh, yeah.
overcome something that's challenging and uncomfortable, and you see through to the other side, you feel good about yourself.
for
So
sure.
at the time, everyone has their stories of questioning why they signed up.
Oh, yeah.
At least at some point during the race for most people. And then the dialogue that you have when you're uncomfortable, or you're tired, or you're sore, and then witnessing that, and then you sort of feel like wow, it doesn't get much more Canadian than encountering every different possible scenario in one 12.5K loop.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I got to do, which was pretty cool, hanging out, was to represent one of the companies that we carry here at Up and Out is Innovate, and so they stepped up big time with they had 18 pairs of shoes as prizes, as well as they contributed their swags, which is like a buff, and they had hats and socks and
a couple sweaters as well.
Sweaters, yeah.
I still can't believe how much product we were fortunate enough to get from them, because here again is a company that does things right. Not only do they make great shoes that are very specific towards things like trail running, and they put a lot of effort into making sure that they've got a nice range of different types of shoes for different types of running and different types of terrain for trails, but also their soft goods is just incredible too. And so, when the opportunity came up to get them as a sponsor, I mean, I was so excited because it's a company that I just really enjoy using myself.
Yeah,
So,
and you've been
you
a
know,
fan of theirs for a while.
yeah, so to, like versus just try and put a bunch of things out there and see who comes back with sponsors,
Yeah.
I don't think that's what we're all about. We want to do things that we believe in and go with companies that we believe in as well too.
Yeah.
And there again, I mean, I feel so grateful for what they provided for us.
Yeah.
I always say Innovate is the perfect name when I look at with their accessories, and, their vests and their hydration systems. They're very clever and built with comfort in mind, so that the athlete isn't going to have chafing or the items are really made with comfort and performance in mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
And really, I mean, like the fact, like when we were doing the awards, and don't get me wrong, like I mean, I applaud, and I'm like the fact, like I don't, whether you're first or the very last person that comes across the finish line.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's all amazing.
Yeah,
I mean,
for sure.
So the people that actually had the privilege of running fast and in placing in our top three,
Yeah.
To reward them with the shoes was like, and they were like, everyone just seemed so blown away that they were receiving this as a gift for doing well. I mean, that was really, really nice. Like I mean, I think a lot of people just expect to maybe be recognized and get something small. But to get a pair of shoes for top three was amazing.
Pretty amazing.
Amazing, yeah.
Yeah.
It blows my mind every year that people are willing to want to do this kind of stuff. And I think it makes me feel like we do have something special. And
Well, there's that sense of community that's mentioned, and there's a great energy that people contribute to, but you draw from it as well, which, it's like nobody there who's volunteering, especially those aid stations, is selfish by any means, but it is something that's nice to be able to be part of, and so you feel good about being part of it.
Yeah.
And you're contributing to something that's pretty amazing.
yeah, no, it's,
So I guess we're going to wrap up.
Sure.
But moving forward, like next year? How are we going to top it? What's
well, I don't think it's a matter of topping it, but I think it's like continuing to promote ourselves as an event that like we just have this nice consistency as far as like you're going to get good value for the money that you spend to do the race.
Yeah.
You're really going to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
It's just the venue, from the venue to the food to the course. I think it's a complete package for people.
It is.
And there again, like you said, like it's this idea of like the kind of the beginning of the season for a lot of people, and the biggest compliment that I think that we can get from doing this is when people are leaving for the day and they say, "See you next year."
Yeah.
And I mean, that
Absolutely.
makes me feel so good to know that like if that's the compliment I get, then that's wonderful.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, I don't think it's a matter of outdoing year to year,
No.
but it's a matter of, like once we kind of reach this level of what we provide, like I said, from behind the scenes to actually day of, this is like just maintaining those standards of putting on something that's very high quality. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
So
Great.
Wonderful.
Well, speaking of that, we'll see you next year.
yes,
Yeah.
thanks, Rob.
See
Thanks,
you
Sue.
next year.
All right,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, thank you.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye.